This video is going to be a dictionary word search of the word Amazon. Amazon in reference to multiple things. Primarily my prerogative, yes, prerogative, is to see if there's going to come up any connections between corporate interests that support the wage gap, and also sexuality. So whether the wage gap is related to sexuality, and whether it's actually the pronouns he and she, whether the pronouns he and she, the fact that there are only two pronouns that don't reflect that there are at minimum three gendered sexualities. So the three gendered sexualities would be two gendered queer um, sexualities, and then there's a straight sexuality, but our pronouns don't reflect that. So pronouns, specifically the pronoun she, because like I said, I'm going to look up the word Amazon, um, doesn't reflect the fact that a potential cause for the wage gap is actually that lesbian women are not only lesbian women, I mean, this also has to do with like male sexuality as well, but actually being able to parse out, um, yes, there are hormonal differences between lesbian females and straight females, and so how that could contribute to a wage gap is that um, more aggressive women, but also more aggressive men, um, are kind of slipping through the cracks of um, this like unaccounted for and like therefore arbitrary. So when I say arbitrary, I mean language that is not intentionally um, like illuminating the reality of the situation. So there's language that illuminates and there's language that conceals. So if it is true that the pronoun she is concealing the phenomenon of the wage gap, I'm curious about that. So I figured Amazon would be a great word to check it out. So a third option would be a third pronoun option would be not a gender pronoun, although she and he also remain gendered, but it's more about illuminating sexuality. So pride is enduring. Pride has been a phenomenon since before the 1970s. And so it's something that will endure, and society will continue to progress in a direction that is supportive, because it just already is. That's already the trend, um at least in American society, and this is true also abroad, not only in America. But a straight pronoun would actually um enable, I think it's basically solidarity. So it's a pronoun of solidarity among all straight people. Okay, so that's why it uses the letter X instead of the letter S, or just or no letter in that is like included before he. So yeah, so let's check it out. So if straight men were to stand in solidarity with straight women and take up a straight pronoun, that would actually illuminate what's it called? Potentially a cause of the wage gap, to see whether a gendered, as opposed to like a pronoun that's gendered without revealing the gendered nature of sexual advances in the workplace. So like workplace violence that can occur. So lesbian women actually, the community of lesbian women contain the highest rates of domestic violence. That's not something that is very well known publicly, or not, and not really spoken about in workplaces. But it's certainly, sexual dynamics and sexuality is certainly an aspect of interpersonal aggression in workplaces, and that includes the wage gap. And the wage gap is a form is is a result or a display, is a not even consequence is the right word, but really display and proof of interpersonal aggression that is very much has does have to do with sexuality. Yes. So yeah, I know many workplaces. I've interned at places that have sexuality alliances. So there are so many nonprofit organizations have affinity groups. That's what they're called, affinity groups, specifically for sexuality. But the part that, again, this is about illuminating the nature of interpersonal aggression that can happen between females, but can also happen between males in a workplace as a result of people, exploiting a lack of solidarity. Yes, a lack of solidarity among specifically straight people. So because there's no lack, so lesbian women have solidarity within the pronoun she. Homosexual men have solidarity within the pronoun he, and this is supported in the workplace. But it is specifically straight women who fall short. It's not really falling short as far as labor goes, or effort put in, or you know, ability or talent or anything like that. And this would be supporting motherhood, but also fatherhood. So let's see. So, Amazon, 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 and you can take a look and see that, this book is untampered with. I mean, I've used it in past dictionary word search videos. So this is like, I don't know, like this is like a hair. You can see, but there's no there's nothing like that in here. Like, I mean, there's no ploy. Okay, this is genuine, genuine inquiry. It says implication. Implication. Okay, implication. And implying or being implied. Something implied and implicating or being implicated. Oh, wait. Yeah, something implied and implicating or being implicated. And that is from Latin implicationis, and that means an entwining. Yes, entwining. Okay, it's kind of like Kahoot. Okay, when people are in cahoots with each other, and there are women who are supporting the structure of a so-called boys club. There's no boys club. Okay, there are man-aged males and there are women-aged females, but there are also men and women who have actually reproduced, actually gotten pregnant, actually impregnated someone, and that is what a man or a woman is. But then there are man-aged males and there are women-aged females who are very, very entwined in that boys club ideology, and it's not supportive of motherhood. Motherhood. This word is sailboat. Sailboat. Above that is sailboard, and underneath that is sailcloth. So there's sailboard, sailboat and sailcloth. So let's take a reading of sailboat. Sailing boat, a boat normally propelled by sail, though often having an auxiliary engine. Auxiliary engine. That's not the way the economy needs to work. The economy doesn't need to be motorized, like with some people being more like cogs, being treated more like machinery than human. That's not the way it has to be. For some people to float, for some people to ride, for some people to ride, and for others to be cogs is not necessary. Above that is sailboard, and below that is sailcloth. So it says, canvas cloth used for sails, tents, and casual clothes. And sailboard is in sports, an unsinkable flat boat with a single mast, usually with no cockpit. A single mast with no cockpit for one or two passengers. For one or two passengers. Okay, well, there are actually three different types of passengers in a workplace. Okay, this is under capacity. This is the word capacity. And the line is, it says work. It says work, okay? So it says, the ability of a factory, etc., to manufacture or process its product, especially this as a maximum working to capacity, mental ability, faculty, no capacity for concentration, an office or position with respect to a particular function, competence, etc., in his capacity as chairman, in elections, capacitans. So there's a greater capacity within the pronouns that are within the language that is being used to actually support motherhood and fatherhood, and not just these sexual like dominance games that ultimately not that ultimately result in people like thrilling in privately being extremely not only misogynistic but also homophobic. Yes. And racist. All sorts of ableism under that's sliding under. It says to be filled to capacity, to be completely full. The ability to contain or accommodate, the amount which can be contained or accommodated. Right here, working to capacity. And then it says Malta. Malta? The line is, well, my finger is right on, it's pointing to age. My finger, my right where my nail is age. That's what it says. It says treeless and it says age. Treeless. This is regarding Amazon. My finger says age and it says treeless. Treeless, and then it says age. Treeless and age. This is regarding Amazon. So the sentence, I mean, really, those are the two words that are relevant, but I can read the sentence. Malta is a treeless limestone island rising to 758 feet average, average temperatures in Fahrenheit in January are 58 degrees, in July 80 degrees. Okay. Okay, this one is under Venezuela. Venezuela. And then right across, so my finger kind of like skipped when I was going there. So that side is Venezuela. This side is Vendomare. Vendomare, a vending nightmare. And the word is Amazon, and it says Vendomare. Vendomare, and and then there's a name, Venday, and then below that is Vendetta. So on this side, I'll read what's under Venezuela on that side, and then I'll read Vendomare. The lower, okay, the lengthwise valley which divides the latter and in which Caracas lies, is the chief agricultural region. The lower Andean slopes and progressively the savanna lowlands, traditionally grazing land of the Orinoco Basin, are also cultivated. And then there's Vendomare. Oh, Vendomaire. In French history, the first month of the French Revolutionary calendar. The Paris Royalist insurrection of 13 Vendée Mayer of October 5th, 1795, crushed by Barras and Napoleon with a whiff of grape shot. Below that says vendetta, and that says a blood feud. A blood feud. Laying an obligation of honor on the members of a family to take revenge upon the killer or injurer of one of them, or upon a member of his family, thus instigating a chain of vengeance from generation to generation. That's an Italian term. V for vendetta. Okay, let's see. It says, here goes. Here says heresy, heresy. Heresy, heretic, or heretic, and heresiarch, 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 heresiarch. You don't even have to call it the patriarchy, okay? Because it's lesbian women who are aggressive. Look up statistics of domestic violence. Interpersonal domestic violence. Lesbian women commit the highest rates of that. That's not heresy. But we are all participating in a heresy arc by not acknowledging sexual dynamic, the like workplace aggression, professional aggression, and how sexual dynamics function within that. There's heresiarch, a founder of a heresy, a leader of a sect of heretics. Heresy, religious or ideological belief opposed to orthodoxy. An instance of this. And it's from the Greek word heresis, heresis, a choosing, hair, sis, heresis. It's called, and that says a choosing, heretic, someone who believes in or advocates a heresy. On the other side, under here, it says, here goes, an exclamation signifying that one is about to do something in spite of one's reluctance to do it because it is daunting or likely to prove tedious or unpleasant. But mothers do work anyway. But mothers go to work anyway and have very long careers. And then it says, here's to you. Heresiarch. That's what it says, heresiarch. This one says tail. Tail. And it says tail board. This is the second time it says board. Second time it says board. Tail end. The concluding part of anything. Tailgate and tailcoat and tailboard. A tailgate, tailcoat, a man's coat, worn on formal occasions, having a long divided skirt at the back. That's what a tailcoat is. A tailcoat is a man's formal coat having a long divided skirt at the back. And then it says tail end, the concluding part of anything. Tailgate, the hinged or sliding board or platform at the rear of a van, station wagon, etc., which can be raised or lowered to facilitate loading and unloading. The lower gate of a canal lock. Tailgate, tailgating, and tailgated. Drive dangerously close behind another vehicle. Drive dangerously close behind another vehicle. To drive, to drive. Yeah. Okay, another vehicle. And then, yeah. I'm like wondering what's on this side I'm gonna read down this column and then I'm gonna close the video. So this one says tall. So I'm gonna read down this column that says tall. Tall males and tall females have a professional advantage. Tall, and that is correlated with hormones, and so is sexuality. Tall. Then it says tail bearing, talent, tailor or Thaler, tails, uh, yeah, there are a whole bunch of different terms within tails. So it says tails, tails, to pray a tails. Then it says talisman. And it says talesman, tail teller, talion, 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 um, Taliesin, Taliesin or Taliesin. I think. Oh yes, it's Taliesin, Taliesin. Talipes, talipes, talipot, talisman, talk, talismanic, talismanical. Then it says talk. Under talk says talk someone around, to talk at, to talk back, to talk down, to talk big, to talk down to talk of, to talk out, to talk someone over, or to talk something over, to talk someone round, to talk shop, talkative, talky, talking to, talk show, and then at the bottom is tall. I am a short woman, or I should say I'm a short female. I'm a short woman-aged female, right? I have not, as of yet, conceived and given birth. I have not sustained a pregnancy. Okay? So I am a woman-aged female. And I'm of short stature. I certainly have felt discouraged from being in professional workplaces and from continuing a professional career, to be completely honest. And that occurred, I felt talked down to. That occurred in nonprofit settings, multiple nonprofit settings. And I know there are men out there who would love not only for there not only to be um a maternity, what's that called? Like maternity break from work, but also paternity break from work for fathers of newborns. Yeah. This is about solidarity. This is about social conservatism. And this is also about inclusivity. Okay, wrap around the whole thing. It can wrap around the whole thing. I know. It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum politically you're on. This concept can wrap around the head, okay? It's like a halo.